Hey folks, Jeremiah here, trapping today, and I want to show you a simple way to flush a beaver, just the standard flushing technique. If you've never done this before, this is just a good little way to get you started out. There are lots of other videos. A lot of people do it differently. Everybody has their own little way. This is kind of what I have come to get used to over time. Some people clean skin, some people will flush with a sharp knife on their knee, but most people tend to use this method. So I've got a flushing beam here. This one's actually not very wide. A lot of people use bigger ones. This is just what I had available this winter, so it's what I've been using. And there's a few videos out there. There's a lot of resources on how to choose a flushing knife. This is a Necker Model 600, and it is one of the best flushing knives on the market as far as I'm concerned. And this, you can get a knife. This one's going to cost you about $70 or so. Weeby makes a knife that's very similar to this and similar in price. It's a very high quality stainless steel, and the steel holds its edge really well. And the inside of this is a really a dull edge that's used for pushing, and this outside, this convex side here is sharp, and it's very sharp, and it holds its edge, and it's for cutting the really thick gristly areas. So this is the way to go if you're going to be flushing numerous beavers. You can get that $15 entry-level knife. It's absolute garbage. It's a nightmare trying to flush beavers with it. I've done it before. 6 or 8 beavers with one of those is not fun at all, and I don't think it's worth the effort. If you can afford this, it's a really good investment. So anyway, basically I just take the beaver, I skin it pretty rough. This is the head here, and I'll just put it on the board. It doesn't really matter where you start. Usually I'll go just behind the neck, and I'll put a little piece of a t-shirt or a rag or something just so I don't get that on my clothes. And this is a young beaver, so it's going to be pretty easy to flush. So I'm just going to kind of start working that inside part of the blade. And you notice that if I start pushing and the flesh isn't really moving, I can go side to side with this, and it kind of cuts through the meat and into the leather skin. And so see how that is peeling off there pretty nicely. And as you get that layer off, you can kind of just roll it all the way down. With a smaller beaver like this one, you probably won't need to use the sharp edge at all on your knife. You may need it a few places. The tail, especially the larger beaver, near the head and near the tail is where you're going to have issues, or you'll probably need to use that. So it's one of those things where you just kind of you learn and you get experience as you do more and more of these, and it becomes second nature over time. You get over to the sides. This is kind of where the belly of the beaver is, and that flesh, that's mostly fat, and that comes off really easy. It just kind of rolls right off. This flushing, people throw it away. There's a lot of things you can actually do with it. It's fat. It's really valuable. You can get it on a piece of cardboard and throw it in the wood stove. It burns really well. You can use it for trapping bait. You can probably render it down into some oil to use in trapping lure. Probably a number of different ways to use it, but I wouldn't. If you got a bunch of beavers, I wouldn't recommend throwing it away. I think you ought to try to utilize that if you can. So anyway, down here by the tail, there's a little bit thicker flesh, and again, if this was a older, bigger beaver, that would be even tougher, and we'd have to do some serious cutting with by either slicing with the inside, the cave side of the knife, or we'd have to use that convex side like this side and then just kind of go along and cut. Remembering that when we cut, we want to be careful not to go too deep so that we don't cut a hole in the pelt, because it's very easy to do with this really sharp knife. But that'll come off really easy. I work my way all the way down, then I'll turn this pelt around. I'll work around the head. A few things to watch around the head is you've got this really thick area of flesh that comes off a little hard right behind the ears. Just be careful, take your time going through that. But pretty much that's about it. It's pretty simple. It's a lot of work, but at first, but you kind of get used to the methods, and you can kind of economize, and your muscle memory gets working, and you can find ways that it just becomes so much easier after some practice. So anyway, hope this helps, and we'll catch you in the next video.